Hey, welcome to the Black Filmmakers Lounge, Saturday morning indie industry Shoptalk. I'm your host, Michael Melville, my co-host, Tamara TK Henderson. We always doing is what we do, so we're going to let you know that the Black Filmmakers Lounge is where independent filmmakers, whether novice or professionals, come together to gain insight and perspective through education, information, networking, and to discuss industry best practices that will advance the Black independent film community. So, as our tagline says, the Black Filmmakers Lounge, creating our own space to succeed together as a team. We make it happen. We do that. We is where we is. What's up, sis? How you doing today? I got to give you this.
Hey, you got a $20 bill, put your hands up. Hey.
We're having fun. TK is dedicating her time today, her support, because she does what she does. She is in LA right now. It's early in the morning, I know.
I'm only 7:19 on the Saturday
You've been
morning.
up before then because we talked earlier.
I woke up at 5:50 a.m. 10 minutes before my alarm, so I can make sure I was on time. I even was able to get breakfast. I am not a super morning person, guys, but of course, I've only been out here a few days, and the time change still hasn't caught up with my body. Even though the nighttime it has, the daytime hasn't.
Got you.
So yes, I am still looking on this thing about letting you in. But anyway,
we're gonna do what we do.
You seeing the comments on your regular page? You said.
T.O. did. Derek did on the other stuff. It was all on my page, so we got to fix that a little later.
Okay.
We'll figure it out,
guys? What's up?
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, thank you, T.O. Tia said it's not your fault. Oh, thank you, T.O. Love my hair. Hey. So yes. Oh, okay. I see the other comments.
Yeah, I see Derek and them comment from earlier. So
yeah,
we're
Jaden.
up right now. We're letting y'all know. Listen, we gonna play around a little bit today, and when I mean play around, we gonna show a little something. This is right here. If you're not familiar with it, you're gonna be today just for a little bit. We're gonna talk just a little bit about it. It's called Save the Cat, and we're gonna talk how it could help you guys in filmmaking. But for now, while we're doing that, we're just going to go back to us because we do have a few things we need to discuss. Like, what you been watching? What's up, Derek?
Hey, Derek. Well, I just shared it to my page too. So, I have actually been on set. That's why I wasn't here last week. But I have been on set, and I didn't share it to my page. I have been on set working crew for independent film, and then I've actually been writing. So I've actually been writing. I'm under contract doing a rewrite for someone. So that was pretty good. I was able to get the first draft out before I went to set for 2 weeks. So that was awesome. So now I just got to get the second draft out, and I have and so that is what I've been doing. But I did watch a movie on the plane. I watched House of Gucci. I never knew the story of Gucci. I've never looked it up, never had a desire to. But let me tell you, that was wow. They only had about 872 locations, but the particular, they might have tricked some. They may have tricked some locations, but let me tell you, it looked like 782 locations. But that movie was, the movie was amazing. And the acting and the characterization, oh my God, it was really, really good. And I didn't realize it was a true story until the end of the movie when they started showing the dates and stuff. And then I watched W. I have a client who wants to tell his story, his biopic about getting into politics. And so I watched W to research. And the difference between W and House of Gucci, which I was kind of explaining to him, and then I'll let you tell us what you're watching. But I was explaining to him, Gucci drew us into the story and let us live in the story. When we went to Tupac or W, They bounced back and forth so much, and they didn't give us the heart of the story. We couldn't feel emotionally for any of these characters because they jumped so much, and you can jump time in a tricky way. It's a creative way, but you can jump time, of course. But the way they jump time and they jump back and forth, it was not so. They were jumping back and forth within storylines,
Okay.
but jumping time within these storylines. So you're never able to grasp the heart of the movie. And I felt like W and Tupac, which we'll talk about the same movies kind of later. But both of them did that. So I'm trying to explain to him, like, we need to tell a linear story and just put at the end the clips of you on Fox News, on, all these different MSNBC, all of this. But as for telling the story, we need to tell the story. So for that reason, I had to watch W, and I watched. But House of Gucci, if you haven't seen it yet, it's really good, really good.
Okay.
So what you watching, Mr. Melvin?
I watched She-Hulk. I've been watching that. Movie wise, oh my goodness, I'm trying to remember what I watched because I know Tiffany and I, we watched. Oh wow, Honk for Jesus.
I watched Hunt for Jesus.
Yeah, and now she got into it because she was like, I don't know if I want to see this. It looks cliched, and we started watching it. Her only issue was the ending. And what I had to explain to her was a satire and what the ending meant with the way it ended. And so, up until the end, she didn't like the payoff. The payoff didn't work for her. And that's the thing. That's knowing your audience, because sometimes those payoffs work for some people. It doesn't work for others. I was okay with the payoff. It reminded me of a Spike Lee type payoff, where movies that give social commentary to situations and ways of society and people. So it's a thought-provoking ending to leave you to think about all that you saw and ingest. That's how I looked at it.
When people ask me about writing a movie and they tell me a storyline, which I prefer people not tell me storylines because I'm a writer. But if you don't hire, if you're literally not hiring me, that point, I don't really need to hear your story yet. But the first thing I ask them is, where's the redemption? Where's the redemption? Where's the conclusion? So understanding it's a satire, but when I wrote Jade's Heart, you haven't read Jade's Heart. I wrote Jade's Heart. I ended it. The way I ended it still had a conclusion, but it still ended. You see what I'm saying? Like, kind of like Honk for Jesus ended. So Jade ended like that, but there was some type of, you knew there was a conclusion.
I know, but the thing is, her conclusion came from his response. And if you pay attention to his dialogue, as it progresses, it becomes self-centeredness. So I mean, and it's and so there was a progression. It was kind of like you thought one way, but you really see, here we go. I don't want to dive into the story, but it's a conversation.
I know we're not going to tell you guys the story, but if you want to watch it, interesting enough, Monkey Paw is something that Monkey Paw was associated with, and they gave it 84 on Rotten Tomatoes, which I was shocked.
Okay,
I was like, but they gave Kevin Hart's movie, I haven't seen that yet, Me Time, 7% on Rotten Tomatoes. I liked
Me Time. It was funny. Like, I didn't get to finish watching it because Tiffany fell asleep, so I didn't want to keep watching it, and she was knocked out because she was tired. So I was like, all right, I'll just.
I know, that's what I'm saying. From what I heard about Me Time so far, everybody is loving Me Time, but Monkey Paw's name wasn't on it, sorry, and it only got 7%.
Yeah, I think, and me personally, I don't do a critic thing. I hate to say this. I'm not a critic person. Listen, this is just personal perspective. Like, when I was a kid, I used to have friends who would swear by the source, and I was like, you can pay for mics. Like, what?
Oh
You
yeah,
put
and
the right money in, you can get stuff. I mean, come on, I don't trust it. Listen, go see it for yourself. That's how I look at it.
yeah. No, and I understand that because that's how I am. I think Players Club, when I looked it up, I think Players Club had like 34% on Rotten Tomatoes. But here's the thing: what I understand, and I say that because of fairness.
Mm-hmm.
It's like because Monkey Paw's attached to Hunk for Jesus. If Monkey Paw wasn't really, if Jordan Peele's name was not on that, would you really have given it 84? So that's the
Right.
kind of stuff I think about in fairness. Like you said, I'm gonna go watch it. Me Time, it seems like a man movie, like Lewis introduced Vacation Friends,
And what's up,
and I
Lewis, by
went.
the way?
Yes, I was waving at him. I went to see Vacation Friend. I mean, not went to see it, but I saw Vacation Friends, and I said, I see why men like this movie. Lewis thought it was so funny. It's funny, but it's a man's movie. So Me Time to me already looks like a man's movie.
Right.
So
Oh,
I'm definitely gonna check it out. But yeah, I was like, so I'm gonna see what I'm gonna watch on the plane back because 4 hour flight, a 3.5 hour flight. I can watch a movie and a half. So that's what I do, or maybe two movies.
mm.
So that's what I do when I fly is watch some movies because I fly Delta.
So you know what?
But
Yeah. What's up? Okay, so I'm trying to see the comments and reactions, and I can't type nothing in. So it's a
I
software.
can see the comment. Yeah, I can see the comments. But when I go into type a reaction,
Yeah, because we got to do it within the app itself.
yeah, because it takes what it does is take me over to a different thing, and it puts me on a delay, which
Yep.
I'm in a delay
So
right now.
we're sorry, guys. We're noticing the issues of the metaverse. All
Let me
right.
see. Okay,
So
I'm in a
we
delay on Facebook, but not on here. Okay, just checking.
yeah. So like yeah, there's a delay for us. So okay. So my thing just popped up. So everybody else stuff should be popping up, but it's not. I don't know what it is. But I see Lewis, TL, Lewis, Derek, Jaden. I just want to make sure I say hi to everybody. Thank you for joining us.
Hi
What's up? What's
guys.
good? Um, it's gonna be one of them days, I guess. But we gonna make it. Um, as Jadakiss would say. Here we go. So let's talk about, since we're talking about stories and the similarities amongst a lot of stories, because I was talking to TK last night and this sparked from a conversation with Jamal and I. We were talking and he asked me this one question. He said, which movie do you prefer or do you like the most, Bad Boys or Lethal Weapon? And I started laughing and I said, how you going to give me the same movie, ask me which one I like the best? Because he already knows it's all wrapping paper to me. And
Mhm.
I mean, I can't choose between the two because the wrapping is different, but it's still a buddy cop film. It's still like, let's just be real, 48 Hours and All About the Benjamins is the same movie. You got the convict who knows how to get some money. You got in this case, the bounty hunter who's the cop looking to get the bad guys to make a name for himself, but or seeking revenge for them shooting at him and all this. Or in 48 Hours, they shot his partner. You're gonna have those films. 16 Blocks, same thing. So we have been talking about this in previous shows that it's all wrapping paper,
Mhm.
and I think Save the Cat, after TK and I were talking about it, it gives you the wrapping paper breakdown. So we're going to talk about Save the Cat. And Save the Cat comes in different formats. Format number one, the book. So this is the Save the Cat book right here. Okay.
And if anyone talks to me about screenwriting, there are two books I recommend from Jump that you should read. That is the foundation of screenwriting to me.
Mhm.
And Save the Cat is one of them. It's
Here
an
we go.
easy read and is cut and dry on how to format a movie, period.
Yeah. And I mean, they have a workbook and stuff, and they have worksheets you can download, I think, when you buy the book from the website as well. It's Blake Snyder. And
Mhm.
you can, I mean, if you go to YouTube, there's tons of Save the Cat seminars that he's hosted. He's no longer alive, but they keep the thing going for Save the Cat. He's been dead for quite a while, but it's still the formula of filmmaking's in it. And I mean, if you could set in those seminars before and stuff, it's an opportunity to really understand how filmmaking works of writing storytelling and plot points and so forth, but also from a vision, from a producer side, that we understand stories can have differences built within how you tell it, but there really are. I think, what does it say? There's only 6 types of stories or something like that overall. Is that what it was?
I don't know. I've heard the different types of stories before, but I can't remember like all of them because you have variations.
Right.
And I was
Absolutely.
going to actually take his class at the
Mhm.
writers screenwriting conference, and he had died like the week before the
Oh wow.
conference, or 2 weeks before the conference. Yep, I was scheduled. I was going to take his class, and I missed the opportunity.
Mm. I'm so sorry. Yeah, and it's so. Go watch those seminars. If you don't do anything, watch the seminars. Go check out the seminars. So TK does her Save the Cat a different way, right? She does her Save the Cat by paper.
Well, show yours first.
So
Show
mine
yours
first.
first.
All
Yeah.
right.
So save the cat. So talk about the software.
Okay. So let me go to the screen. This is the Save the
Hey,
Cat
Thomas.
software. What's up, Thomas? How you doing? This is the Save the Cat software. It just depends. I have it on my iPhone. I have it on my iPad. It looks a little different on those apps than they
Can you
do on the
guys see
computer.
that?
So if you can see it, go ahead and give us a thumbs up. Let us know you can see it, or give us all love. We can work with that too. Um, so with the Save the Cat, um, let me put this thing window in the corner. There we go. So as you can see, they have the beats, the characters, locations, the setup, and the payoffs, right? The payoff is your ending. How you end your story. Does it pay off? Uh, are people going to be satisfied with the way it ends, with connecting all the dots of your story and so forth? Um, over here, it has your acts, or your act 1, your act 2, and it tells you which page numbers each one should be, right? So that's the other thing too. Um, and you can change the setup. So this is a 110 page film, which is almost 2 hours, close to 2 hours. It was like 80 minutes. Um,
Oh, cool.
so you can change the number of pages. So if I said, okay, my film is 90 pages, boom, it now changes it all for those pages, right? Your opening image, your theme stated by your 4th page. The setup happens between page 2 through 9, with the catalyst 10, the debate 11 to 19. See how that starts to work, and then of course, what's the last image that's ingrained in your audience. So they get to see that aspect. Your midpoint is at page 45, and the bad guys close in. So we really get that. To really understand what's going on when you get close into your bad guys right here. Because I think this is set up for. So, how we do this is the type of screenplay you're doing. And you can have reports and stuff. Let me go over here. If you start a new one, you can tell it what you could. We already set it up for the BFL lounge. You put your log line here. I'm a log line person. If one thing TK knows about me, I start with my log line first. And then I kind of do a short synopsis, and as we hash the story, we get a longer synopsis out of it. You get your character development here. You get to talk, who's your characters, break them down. Your locations you put in, setups, and then of course again the payoff, right? Um, and here we go.
Oh, wow.
So now you got your checklist, right? Your title. Is this the best title to tell us what this story is visually and emotionally does. It says what does your title say, right? Your log line, can you pitch this in a minute? It asks you that. So this really breaks it down, right? You have to do a mini
Dang.
story log line, which is where my small synopsis is. It's a little bit longer than the other one, but it gives you the key beats of the story, right? And of course, your act one, um, you set up, you debate, all that. Boom. You got to check this off. And as you check it off, you know where you're at. So I'm a computer person. Everything is digital for me. I don't use Save the Cat all the time. I've used it quite a couple times for shorts and stuff.
Mhm.
I mean, you can put it in there for a short film. That's the coolest thing about it. Once you do those minutes, let's say I want to do a 20-minute episodic short, then let me go back to,
Wow. I like how you can change the pages.
yeah. And so, you know, so you
Yeah,
got
that's
your
neat.
log lines, your blank short form, your long form. Let me go ahead and cancel that. So you'll type all that in. So I like the tools for it. Um, it's just me. What's your payoff? Right? So it's a great software. Where is the thing that
Huh.
yeah, see, I'm telling you, it's just like some great stuff.
That's really great. That's some good stuff.
And of course you can go to, oh, if you didn't get Save the Cat Strikes Back, that was another book. Also, good book to read.
Oh, I
Um,
need to get that. I need to order that.
So, of course, there's some updates and all that wonderful stuff. And there's a tutorial. So, if you do run into problems, bam, here, right?
Wow.
Now I need to update the version 4. But now I will say this because I just noticed a change this morning because I have it on my other systems, on my laptop, on my iPad, and everything. I noticed now that they've gone to the subscription base. I think it's a year, you pay for it yearly now, where I bought it outright and I've been using it or I have use of it for a minute. Again, it's great. I mean, it really is. If you read the book, it really helps you understand the different types of stories you're telling.
And it is
Right?
so, like I said, guys, it is so cut and dry. It
Yeah.
was the best book in the world to me.
Like your cop movies fit in the buddy love section. A lot of people don't realize that.
Oh, this is what you're talking about, the different types of movies. The
Yeah.
buddy
So,
love, why I
mhm,
done it, why I done it.
and it gives you examples of the movies that, like, if you really want to study these things, it tells you, the Monster in the House, Paranormal Activity, Saw, The Ring, Scream, Fatal Attraction, Alien. Then you got The Golden Fleece, Alice in Wonderland, Date Night, Up, The Hangover, all that.
That's my
And
movie.
so when you're writing your movie, it has it where it breaks you down. That's what's in the book, by the way. All this damn stuff is in the book. So
I'm pulling up the software now. Wow. Wow.
yeah, and so it's giving you that.
Oh,
You got like the rites of passage. Okay, dude with a problem. Boom. Enemy of the state, Die Hard, 3 Days of Condor. Rites of Passage was social network and 500 Days of Summer, that stuff. And so you're seeing what kind of film you're actually doing and how it's defined. So again, when you pitch your films, because usually we're connecting films, and they've added, they got the superhero films as well. Which I mean, I'll tell anybody, superhero film, if you really understand, Joseph Campbell is the hero's journey. Every superhero film follows the hero's journey. So, you
so
know,
the software is it's also like a book because it almost
yeah,
like
it includes the book. Basically,
it's pretty expensive. Just yeah. So I'm looking at it.
yeah. And so again, you got your stuff, man. So I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know what to tell y'all, but it's useful. If I can get back to where I was, I don't know where I lost it because there's something I need to click on, but I don't know where it is. For real, I'm like in my brain, I'm trying to, once I get jacked up for the day, I'm jacked up. Like Facebook just messed me up.
I really like the page count, like the page changing the page count and changing the what you call it. I really like that.
And so, yeah, then that helps you because, let me go back to the 90. Because again, you're choosing these things. And the thing is too, it works with Final Draft. They all connect with each other. You can import, export. You have reports that you can print out for your log lines and all your characters and all that. So again, you can write a biography for your character, right? And you can print that out. Sorry, y'all don't need to know that much information about us. Sorry. And so that's the other part, right? And so then you go to script. I print out the script. I can import the PDF script into Final Draft.
Wow.
And because remember because I showed TK, you can import a script from a PDF script from Final Draft, and it lays it out.
Only, in the latest version, you can get a PDF. In the latest version of Final Draft, yes.
Yeah, it was last year and this year's version, yeah. So if you haven't upgraded Final Draft, always do it. Again, people have teacher discounts and stuff like that, so you'll see the benefits. But as you can see...
And honestly, I've upgraded Final Draft twice. I cannot tell the difference from the first time other than that PDF. And then the first time I had to upgrade is because it wasn't attaching the title page on. It was really weird. So I had to upgrade to, I think I was at 7, had to upgrade to 9 or something like that. But when I just recently upgraded to 13, and I'm going to take a tour, I'm going to make sure I do a tour of it. I think it's 13 or 12. Is it 13? I'm going to make sure I do a tour of it because I do want to see what the difference is because I cannot tell the difference from Final Draft 7.
I'm on 11 on this computer. I think it's 12 on the other computer.
Okay, so I think so I think I have 12. So I'm going to do a tour.
So if you guys if you haven't used Final Draft, boom, like
12. Thank you, Derek. So go ahead.
I'll install update later, but I don't want to do that now. But yeah, see, I haven't done a lot of installations on this computer because I've mainly used it for the Black Filmmakers Lounge. I use my laptop because I travel with it.
Okay.
For everything else. So all my stuff is on my laptop. So that's Final. That's Save the Cat. Thinking Final Draft, right?
For technical people. That's right. Final. Save the Cat software for technical
software-based people. And like I said, the apps look different. So the app on the phone and your iPad looks different than this one. Okay. And it's actually quicker. It's like plug in, boom, 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 boom. And you can talk into it and type. So you have those things you can do with it as well. That's where we at though.
So Lewis asked the Save the Cat convert the shot list. Oh, Derek just answered. No. Nope.
Yeah. You want the shot list. So for shot list, I use, and I just hit some people onto it. So, okay. Movie Magic is going to be your scheduling and budgeting software, but I also use Jungle software, which has Gorilla. They're at Gorilla 7 because they were just sent out a thing for us to attend a free seminar for them. And so I like the Gorilla. It's simple. It's very simple. It's very easy to use and navigate.
And that's
but I know Movie Magic is industry standard. That's the thing, right? So when you're creating your script breakdown, your shot list, all that stuff, Movie Magic is the industry standard. But
I was just going to ask about Studio Binder.
Yeah, and Studio Binder is another one. We talked about that before. So Thaddeus says he used Jungle. Yeah, see, Thaddeus, Jungles is easy, isn't it? It's real. And they provide. Now, the thing about Jungle software, they also provide the book, the pricing book for the different unions. So you can get an idea of cost. for your budget.
Oh, okay.
So they publish that every year. It's like usually like $27-$30 a year. If nothing changes, you wouldn't upgrade to the next year, of course. But so yeah. Now I think about it, yeah. I mean, what we doing, y'all? What's up? What's up? It's good that we're
Yep. Can I share my screen?
yep.
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen, guys, and show you guys. So and I'm the non-technical person. So I'm going to show you guys how I draft all of my stuff. Hold on just
I'm
a
gonna go to
second.
you.
Okay.
Hopefully you can share your screen from there.
Can you see this?
I don't see anything yet.
Nope. It
It's
didn't
not
share.
letting you share.
Oh, no, because I got to press the button. Whatever. Okay, hold on. Whatever, guys. Okay, so I'm the non-technical person. So this is how I learned to write. And this is one of the classes I took. So
Hold on. I gotta
see
assign that. I'm gonna assign that to you. Boom. Okay, TK, what we doing? Why we see all that? You had it, and now we see everything. The future of filmmaking. You're back in the guest room. Let me bring you back out.
Okay.
What happened? You
So
ended your thing. You ended the thing. All right, go ahead.
I
Bring
just
it up.
ended it
Oh, okay.
because
Yeah,
it's repeating. I don't understand why it's repeating.
it shouldn't be
Hold
repeating,
on.
but you had it at first, so I don't know what just happened.
Right. See, I put share and now it's repeating.
So you can't look at you. You had to look at the actual item. Have it set the setting to only share the app.
It doesn't give me that choice. It says wants to share the contents of your screen, window,
The
Chrome.
window.
Okay, so let's go to window. So I want to share.
Sorry,
Can y'all
guys.
see?
It's
Hold
changed
on.
since a lot's changed since we've done this before.
Give me a second. I got it. Okay. So the first window I want to share. Hold on. I think I got it. Let me see. I want to show. One of them is up that I want to show you guys, but there's something else I want to show you guys before that.
Okay, click on the window you want to show first, and then click on the window you want to show after that. Then we go. Yeah, we had it.
Yeah, it's not. Here it is. Okay, I want to show this first. So, can you guys see this? Yes.
Yeah, here
right?
we go. They about to see it now. Boom. Oh, hold on, TK. Hold on. I'm going to go back to you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I am going to put that as guest 2. So let's make this guest 2. And let's go to guest 2. There we go. And
okay.
All right. There we go.
So when I first start, one thing,
Now I'll put you in there so they can see you. I'll just take it out.
They don't need to see me. They know what I look like. So when I first started writing, I went to these screenwriting conferences in LA for the Screenwriting Magazine, which was amazing. I mean, you literally got in, and I used to go to film festivals when I first started learning, but I realized film festivals weren't teaching me. They were more about networking. So I started going to these conferences that actually taught, and like Blake Slider, Linda Cowgill, the one that everybody loves, Raymond. Her name is Linda Seeger. I think it's Seeger. All of these people who literally wrote books were teaching us in these classes. These classes were an hour and a half long. An hour and 25 minutes, these people taught. My brain was hurting when I left there, and I wish I was exaggerating. I was full of so much information. I learned so much. So I was able to find a place where I can actually learn my craft. And so this is one of the classes I took. And Michael Haig is kind of the story. And I wanted to show this first because how you went through the setup and the payoff and the B story and all this. Mm-hmm. Basically, he lined it out as 6-stage plot structure. So the setup, and he puts it like 10%, like if it's a 100-page movie, okay, page 10, new situation going into page 25, the second act, the progress, which I break up the second act, which I'll show you guys in a minute. The progress act 2.1, and then 50%, all is well. The second part of it is the downhill part, which you'll learn in Save the Cat. It'll tell you how everything goes downhill. It's like building a movie is like climbing up a hill. When you get to the midpoint at the very top, everything is great, and then you have to go downhill. And once you hit downhill, that's where they put it here after between the 50 and 75% complications and higher stakes. That's when everything is going wrong. Everything is going the opposite direction of what the character thought. Everything is going crazy. And then you hit that crisis point. You hit the crisis point, the point of realization, and then page 75 to 100. Some people write 30-minute third acts. I write 15, period. I don't think it takes that long to end the movie. But it seems to work well for me and my clients. But and then that's the end. But it puts it at the percentage. So I use this and I send this out a lot. But what I created off the beat sheet, which is just the same thing as the beat sheet. So what I created was, we're going to change this one, Michael, and put it in a different one. So hold on a second. So stop sharing that one.
Yeah, you can change your window. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I got you. Thank you. So
Yeah,
this is what I. Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, so like, because when I see Derek and them talking about was Sid Fields, because when you get Sid Fields books, he does the acts. He breaks down your act 1, your act 2, your act 3, your plot points, plot twists, all that, and
with the beat sheet.
Yeah, with the beat sheet, and it comes. I mean, you get the book. Like, a lot of these books are great to get. A lot of the videos, because they give you the sheets, the stuff to work out. If you print it out, you start writing your stuff out. It makes it much more simple.
And I can't see.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I can't see the comments now. But when we talk about simple, so like I said, I'm not a tech person. Like Michael does the software. So this is what I designed this just off the beat sheet, and it helps me write scripts and first drafts so well. I'm a paper person. I usually take my spiral every time I get a new client, a new story, and I map that thing out. Act 1, turn the page, act 2.1, next page, act 2.2, next page, third act. And I write down everything and all the plot points. So I created this, which is off the beat sheet, just to help me write better first drafts. And actually, I literally write even a little faster. Imagine that. But for those of you who know me, Act 1, I didn't put the theme in there. That's the one thing I always struggle with, is getting the theme in there, but it always happens naturally. So I don't force it trying to figure out the theme. That's one of the turning points. I'm sorry, but all my writing, thank God, seems to work without me forcing a theme in there. But you're supposed to put the theme right in about page 5. So I know how many. So each page, the reason why I have it laid out like this is because each page is usually about 2 to 3 pages. You have some short scene, you have some short scenes that are about 1 page, but each scene is usually about 2 to 3 pages. So I know if I average 2 pages, and people call me a technical writer, that's fine, because once I get the layout in, then I can play with the story and expand where I want to. Once I get this layout in. So if I calculate an average of 2 pages times 5 scenes, which is laid out here, that gets me to page 10. So like I said, I can play with the variations. I can do what I want, but that gets me to page 10. Then page 10, which is our first turning point, which is the inciting incident, that takes us into the decision making, where we're trying to figure out what to do. From page 10 to page 25 is where we're trying to figure out what to do, what options are available. And then same thing. I know how many pages it takes me, how many scenes it takes me to get to act 2. So I lay out those scenes so I can fill in the blanks. Once we hit act 2, which is where your character makes a decision and decides to go forward, then we hit every 10 pages is a turning point. Technically, every 10 pages is a turning point. So page 35, 5 scenes, 25 to 35, 5 scenes. Page 35, 5 scenes. Next turning point, page 45. Page 45 is where all is well. So everything is going well. And then this is where we hit that downhill. So page 55, you start going down, which is laid out like in the software. Page 55, downhill turning point. Page 65 to 70 is where our crisis is. This is on 90 pages, sorry. 65 to 70, that's where our crisis is. 70 to 75, point of realization. That's where we're figuring out what to do, what happened. Oh, it was actually me that screwed up everything. Or because I made this decision, everything is screwed up. So now I have to change the course. Act 3 is the conclusion. And when I say 15 pages, Act 3, I literally have 7 points in here, 7 asterisks in here, 7 scenes. And that is the conclusion, page 75 to 90. So, any questions on any of the stuff we just showed you guys?
Yeah, we here. We're listening.
Because I can't see the other screen.
Daddy said he lives on the beat sheet, Sid workbook. Yeah, I'm telling you, like, and I've gotten lazy on the script side because I've hired a script writer to write my scripts. Her name is Tamira T.K. Henderson. Because I got a little lazy. But I actually outline my stuff too. I outline my stories before I even send them over to her. So I still do that aspect of my stories. To cut time too. Because if you already know what direction you want to go in with your story, or what your midpoint is, if you want to know how you want to start it and your midpoint and how you want to end it, I mean, that's a beginning. And then that allows TK to like fill stuff in for you, you know, to build that story to that point.
And now I'm building all of this with my clients. So I'm pretty sure I sent it to you. I build all of this with my clients now because the one thing I'm really gifted at, which is a blessing, is I can translate what they see in their mind to paper.
Right.
It is a gift, and I thank God for it. But this right here, if I do this outline with my clients and write that first draft, I did it with my last client for the rewrite. I wrote a first draft at 88 pages. I'm missing 2 scenes.
Thaddeus said, team writing is dope. Too bad we can't share these like we normally do. He says, how often do you start a movie off with the inciting incident? And he said he starts with his ending.
You start with the inciting incident happening first?
So, I mean, he asked how often do you start with the inciting incident? But he said he starts with the ending. So I think he starts writing the ending of the story first, and then he goes back to write the rest of it. Like today, right? When I was talking to you about the project I'm thinking about, one of them, and I said, I already know how I want it to end. You know what I mean? Like, we already know. I'm going to bring it back to us.
Right.
I already know how I want it to end. It's the other stuff. Like, I know where the beginning is. I know who the character is. And so I gave you the inciting incident, but it wasn't the first thing, you know, that sparks it. Because we ended up talking about a story I have this morning. Or I had it more than this morning, but I've been adding to it. Because it started off as a joke with us. But for me, I look at the story as a whole. Like, what story do I want to tell? And when it's over, what do I want people to walk away with? Because those are very important parts to me. Like, when this ends, like, because I'm big on payoff. Is the payoff good? If the payoff isn't good, it doesn't matter how great the whole film was. If the payout doesn't connect your audience at the end, they're going to forget all the great stuff they saw in the beginning. Be like, they are going to write it off. And which is unfortunate.
Jesus, just a prime example.
Yeah. Like my wife, she's like, it was all right. You know, she's like, I ain't get the ending. So that just ruined everything for her. So that payoff is very important. For me, I got the ending, so it was good. Because now your payoff, we have to remember too, that everybody's not our audience. You know, here you got Mr. Melvin and Mrs. Melvin sitting next to each other. We like the film differently. You know, there's some stuff she watches. I mean, it was all right. But most of the stuff I watch, she gets into it. But I think when you writing and you think about how you want to end that story, now you got to think about what's going to get you there.
Right, you know? Which is the plot point, like we showed with both the softwares.
Yeah,
the journey.
So that's what I think that Thaddeus is looking at, because he says start with the end. He said, I never really start with the inciting incident. I introduce the world first, which is what we do. Introduce the world, the character, the world, the world that the character's in, and the environment. I think,
And that's usually the first 10 pages of, if you read any screenwriting structure thing, the first 10 pages, that's what they tell you to do.
but there are movies that start with the end. You see or they start in the middle. I think the key is sometimes starting you in the middle and then catch you up to that point and then now get you to the end. Because you see some movies where a person's falling out the window. You'd be like, you ever wonder how you got to this point? And then they
Yeah,
rewind it and take you back. But it has to be done in such a way that you be like, wait, how are you falling out the window? And then you're like, hey, is he gonna survive?
90s movies did that a lot. 90s movies. I am not big on putting, people like, you got to draw them in. And so we're going to put something from the end at the beginning. I'm not that person. I don't like my movie. Let me just say it like this. It doesn't work for me. So my movies that I am about to film more than likely will not have having a piece of the ending in the beginning just to trap you. No, I'm gonna try to, it's a movie, take the journey.
Mm-hmm.
But when that is about the it's inciting incident, and you're talking about writing it or creating the story. There's two different answers to that. Starting with the inciting incident. When I get a story, I usually get the theme of a story first. So I usually get the theme of what of the story. For instance, one of the stories that I may or may not create, or somebody may create one day, is how, because there was an article that came out yesterday about this 16-year-old that killed this 51-year-old man. Well, the 16-year-old mother was in a relationship with this man. I've actually seen a documentary where this woman, she wasn't healthy mentally enough to leave a relationship. And guess what happened? Her child killed the man and got put in prison for killing the man that was abusing his mom, because she wasn't strong enough to leave the relationship. And
Oh,
to
because
me, that
I
go
thought you
ahead.
were talking about the girl who was like 16 or 15 who killed the guy because she was being sex trafficked.
No, this
And
is in
remember
the
that one
household.
too? Remember, because it
Yeah,
was a
they have
black
another
girl.
one.
Yeah.
They have another one. They have another one where the girl is being sentenced this week
Mm.
because she killed the man that was that got her and has been sexually trafficking and abusing her, and they're sentencing her this week. I saw that last week. This came out yesterday. The 16-year-old boy staged his disappearance after he killed this 51-year-old man. And as I'm reading the article, it says the man and the boy's mother were in a relationship. So that leads me to assume
Mm-hmm.
something happened in that household to make this man have a vendetta. I mean, this young boy have a vendetta that he was willing to go kill this man.
Right.
But it's crazy but that's the theme. The theme of the movie is how women, some women or people, I ain't gonna say just women, men, women, period, are not mentally secure or strong enough to leave a relationship that's harming their whole family. And turns out the kid is the one that has to go kill the person to release them from what they're under. That's the theme. So that if I wrote a movie like that, then I would start creating the turning points on this particular movie.
Mm.
So I
Okay.
necessarily don't start with the inciting incident, but I start with the theme. But in the writing portion, if I was to start the writing, my outline with a inciting incident, then what I would do is I still have those plot points to hit, because I still have to hit the plot points. Sins of the Father. Oh, I need to check that out.
Yeah, I know
Oh,
the
it's hot.
girl's out. I remember that case, and I was thinking TK was kind of talking about that, but I didn't realize there were other cases with the same similarity um,
Yes.
of that. And it's so interesting because with all that's happening with sex trafficking and everything, and I know there's some movies coming up because I know Antonio um, Verdes has a movie where he gives a girl money, puts her in a hotel room. She kind of ran away from home or whatever, and he's helping her out. He said, "You can stay till the end of the week," but then she gets pulled in through sex trafficking because they find out she's by herself in his room and grab her, right? And then he goes and hunt these people down to rescue her. And in her mind, he set her up, but he really didn't. But and it's a redemption movie because of the type of person he is in the first place. But I'm surprised we're not producing these types of movies, especially with a lot of our kids, black kids, coming up missing so much.
And
Minority
that's
kids,
yeah.
or like even Beware, Be Cautious type films. I know one of the films I saw with Chadwick Boseman when he Message to the King. I think that
Oh
was the
yeah, I saw
movie
that
where he
one. I
went to
did.
look for his
Yeah,
sister because they
I saw that.
hadn't contacted her in so long, and he's trying to find out what happened to her, and she was put off in a sex trafficking, I think, in drugs and
Mhm.
stuff, um, and so it's like, why aren't we making? I know we're not supposed to make a bunch of these films, but if you think about it, it's like there's a deep message because it's happening. There's so many kids coming up missing. Um, Even when it comes to our kids that are missing, when I say ours, black kids, where they don't get the same press as other kids, are women.
Oh,
And there's stories like that, but it's written from another's perspective versus ours. Um, so we may need to look into that as independent filmmakers. How can we tell these types of, especially stories that have a cause? Remember, we said this before. If it has a cause, you get a lot more people involved, especially if it's something it needs a voice, something that needs a voice, right? Or it's not getting enough traction and not getting enough voice for our community. So, as independent filmmakers, we have the beauty of
mhm.
telling great stories and giving everything a voice that we want to, at a lower budget, of course, but sometimes that low budget makes you figure it out. Makes you be creative. Like we talked the week before last with Lewis, and he got his 3D printer and he was creating the things he needed for his fan film for Star
3D
Wars.
printer, Project Him.
Oh yeah, yeah. See, and then because that's part of TK's Disney movie, I call it, because stuff like that, and we got to decide the stories. Well, what are the stories we're going to tell? And so here's the tools. We gave you 2 tools today, well, 3 probably, today for writing and planning stuff out. Now, my physical tools, because TK says I do a lot of computer stuff. I do computer stuff, but I have whiteboards and 3x5 cards and Post-its. Like, you can't go wrong with that. I do have a journal that I keep too. I've used my phone a lot more because the iPhone has notes. So if I come up with a log line or story, I start putting them
Uh-huh.
in the notes. I start outlining it. I talk it into the phone because my brain thinks faster than I'm typing. And so sometimes I have a bunch of recordings of movies from beginning to end just because I was thinking about them and how they played out. You can storyboard with action figures. If people don't think about that, you may not be a good artist, but you get a couple of action figures, some stick figures, or whatever, and you just start taking pictures and storyboarding it, and you can create your shots and your angles and your lighting and all the stuff you want to do. Um, you take out your iPhone and start making your storyboard and plugging it all in. We talked about storyboard software before with Storyboard Quick, which I haven't updated yet for the new Apple computers, but I do have I did have a version of them and another storyboard for the iPad that I play around with because I used to use the Storyboard Quick a lot for my
Mhm.
stories to storyboard it. But I can pull the good part about some of these software is you can import your script and lay it out. So that there was a beauty to that. Frame Forge for storyboarding, we talked about that a long time ago. Sometimes we got to bring that stuff up. Sometimes we got to come back around and talk about the
To the
script
basics.
writing and the story
Okay, to the
development.
basics. Yeah,
Yeah, because
to the basics. Yeah.
listen, 3x5 cards, post-it notes.
I
Um,
tried the cards too. Yeah, I tried the cards, and it's really what works for you because, like we say, like Michael is technical. Derek says he uses the chalkboard. Um, Donald, thank you. Derek, I did screenshot baby girl so I could take a look at it. So everybody uses different methods that work for him. And it's funny because I'm listening to Michael talk about all of the importing and all this stuff. And I'm like, shit, by the time you finish that, by the time I finish importing and all that stuff, I didn't wrote it on this paper and I didn't created a first draft already while people are still importing. Cause that's how that's what works best for me. But it's
Right.
so many different techniques to create your story. The thing is, he uses Shot Pro. Derek uses Shot Pro for his shot list, and we want to do that too. We want to go over a shot list. We want to create a shot list online and go over that from a
Yeah, we were
script.
talking
And we
about
can do
doing
that
a
from a script.
beginning writing a story workshop where we do it maybe in a Zoom or in a private group on Facebook, where we go through a story from beginning to end, where it's a short, probably wouldn't be a feature, but be a short where we write it out, plan it out, and show you the techniques and the use of these tools to do it. Um, and that way it would help people. Now, of course, we're not getting paid from Final Draft. We're not getting paid from Save the Cat or any of these people. So if you get these software, you get it. We just suggest it because now I will tell you, I'm an educator. I get discounts, and I tell everybody, if you got a kid in school, college, under pre-K through 12, you get them to get the software at a student discount and make use of it. Plus, you're training anyway; you're learning to use it. But if you're also starting a film business, it's also a tax write-off for you. It's your subscriptions are tax write-offs because you have a business. You're running a business, and so you put that into your taxes and your business, buying subscriptions and of software. So
I only had one Derek. Derek said I use all my kids.
thank you, Derek. See, I'm
all
telling
my
you.
kids, all my kids got software subscriptions in their names. That's hilarious. Amen, amen. Uh, but yeah, no. So yeah, you have all these tools. Here's the thing about me though, with these tools, and the reason why I like discussing them
Mm-hmm.
is because, hold on just a second. I moved it. Is because I get so many emails a day, and I know I'm not the only one in my screenwriting email account.
Mm-hmm.
And everything is how much it costs. Everything costs join this club, buy this book, buy, put up for this competition. It reminds me of the K-pop. In the industry, it is a
Mm-hmm.
money grabber. It is a money grabber. So that's why when I'm on here, when we're on here, or I'm on here, and I always ask, what is the best book for this? Like I ask you, Michael, what is the best? I know there's a lot of books that you're like, here's 10 books, TK. I'm like, no, no, no.
Which
What is the
one?
best book? Because a lot of them will repeat some of the same things.
Right.
But it's such a money grabbing industry. I'm telling you, consultation here, $300 for this. Like we said, talk to software. That particular software was $200 for 1 year. That was just the screen, for the
And
pro
I ain't
level.
spent $200 to buy the whole thing with my discount. I mean, to use it for all this time. You know what I mean? I've
Right.
had Save the Cat.
Now
As y'all saw, I'm on version 3, but I had it since like version 2 or something like that. And now version
when
4 is
you can
probably
buy
out and
it.
5 is already probably out. I don't know. I saw a
Yeah,
version
but when
4
you can
update.
buy it,
Huh?
like you said, when you could buy it, now it's
Yeah.
subscription. Now it's $200 a year. That final draft you can buy straight out. Thank goodness. I hope it's still the same way. Final
Yeah.
draft,
Yeah,
magic.
final draft right
Um,
now. So here's the thing, y'all, and I'm gonna tell y'all straight up because I've noticed and we were talking about this. Everybody's moving towards subscription based. Let's say for filmmakers using their phone, and you have Filmic Pro, and just so you'll see my lenses and stuff, but you have Filmic Pro.
mhm.
Filmic Pro is now moving to subscription based, but everybody who's previously bought it, their version will work just fine. But all the new bells and whistles, all the new stuff, that's going to come for subscription people, just like some of the other software I've seen, because the subscription platform is the push for everything. It's to keep companies coming up with making more money and locking you
Absolutely.
in. Adobe has moved over to subscription. When I first got on Adobe with Premiere and Photoshop and everything, I used to have to buy the whole thing, but we got it at a discount for those who are in education or going to school. So now it's easier to lock you in. Now, as an educator, I pay $20 a year. I mean, a month. I'm sorry, $20 a month, like $21 and some change because of taxes. Everyone else pays about, depending on which version they get, anywhere from $20 to $40 a month or $50 a month, like 20, 50, $49.99 or whatever. But like I said, you got kids in school, just do that. Or become an educator.
Right, Daddy. It's
They
pay
need that.
forever. And
Yeah.
that's just one. That's just one software.
Right. They want to lock you in. And
Yeah.
everybody's trying to do it because they know where the money is. And I mean, the one thing I will say is, look, I'm an Apple user, and Final Cut, since I bought it, they updated. I haven't had to buy a new Final Cut, nothing. And they just updated. What I spent, I spent. The new version come, I get the update.
That's good.
It's that simple. But everybody's gonna now nickel and dime you, because for them to stay in business, they got to keep money coming in, and it's more advantageous for them to have you paying a subscription every month to use it. But here's the advantage for you, unless it's a lock-in subscription. Lock-in subscriptions to me are pay for this year and you get this off. But if you cancel at any time, you'll have to pay X amount more. A couple of software, I know Adobe's good for that. But some software with subscription is as you need it, which is good. I mean, I was doing that with Avid. When I had to edit on Avid, I paid for it for 2 months. After the 2 months of editing, I canceled my subscription. I needed it again for something. I paid for 1 month. I did what I had to do. I canceled that subscription. So it can be a good thing if it's necessary. You know what I mean? But I know that some of them are trying to go to that. If you want the discount version, you got to stay in for the whole year. They know what, or pay up for the whole year.
Pay up for the whole year. Yeah.
So it's all, but you get it for that year. So if I'm strategic, if I got to pay for something the entire year, I usually try to pay for it in the middle of the year when I know they're going to be doing updates. So you get the updates.
Oh, that's good.
Because then if you do it when they do updates around a certain time period, it's usually when most subscriptions are ending and people just boom, And look, we are in a subscription-based society at this point, and it can be, as independents, it can actually be beneficial to us. What if we had people subscribe to our own film channels for 99 cents or $2?
I know, but it just makes me think, like I said, it's just, like I said, so if you got to subscribe to Jungle, you got to subscribe to Movie Magic, you got to subscribe to Final Draft. If you're a full filmmaker, like for me, I'm only subscribing to a couple of these because I am a writer. I'm a filmmaker now. I'm not going to say I'm becoming, I am a filmmaker now. But what I need to make sure of is the people that I hire understand the software and they work with the software, because I don't need to go get software to do shot list. I need my DP to have the software to do shot list. Just like a film, some filmmakers, they only need Final Draft. They need their writer to have Final Draft. They don't necessarily have to have Final Draft. So knowing what you need and what works for you, and make sure the people on your team have the because I know you, Michael, you're the full spectrum. You want all the subscriptions to everything so you can work in them.
Yeah, because the thing is, even if I work with other people, like let's say you and I communicate with Final Draft through Final Draft. I put my notes in the Final Draft. Well, to me, if you're a producer and you don't have Final Draft, there's a problem with that, because that's my way of communicating. I can send you back the script. The notes are in the script. It's not, you know what I mean? Like, you should, I don't know, every filmmaker should have Final Draft, as far as I'm concerned.
See, because like I work with a producer, she has cell text. She doesn't have Final Draft, so she works with her people through Final Draft and cell text. So she has Studio Binder. So when she breaks down the script and all that stuff, she has all of that, and she gets the films done.
They're the same company now, I think. Celltex and
you see what I'm saying? So
connected, which is okay. But I do know that Celltex or Studio Binder imports Final Draft. Final Draft is industry standard, and this is just me.
Right.
There's some things you're still going to have to need if you plan on going industry, even as an independent, or still need to know how to use. Like I said, I have Jungle software. I prefer it, but I still got to use Movie Magic. if I'm going to start talking to somebody that I know who's in LA or who works with studios, and they're like, yeah, send me over. I got movie magic. Oh, well, I need to type it up. If I got to retype it, fine. If I can import it, fine. If I know what I'm doing, Excel, fine. But if I got to give it to them in a specific format, I need to make sure I can do that. Because if you can't, you ain't ready. You remember that saying, you got to get ready and stay ready so that you'll be ready when it happens.
Right. I just like it depends because, but here's the thing, you don't know. Like for me, I know movie magic. Like I'm not going. Here's the thing. I'm personally not going to get every single freaking subscription just because I need to see what this person needs. So I understand what you're saying at the same time, but sometimes we don't know what will work for us just yet that will cover everything. Like Final Draft and Movie Magic may cover everything I need to do.
Mm-hmm. Well, no. I mean, you're TK, your industry in a sense. Like you use Final Draft, you're going to use the industry stuff. So anybody who wants to get into it, deal with you, they need to come up to that standard. You don't need to go down. But the thing is, you're to an independent filmmaker, industry standard stuff can be beneficial sometimes. And that's one of the situations
right. That's
where it is.
Yeah.
Because I know Celtex doesn't necessarily do the correct settings for the script.
Right.
That's why I don't use it. Because when I did use it and I was using it in the classroom, the settings were off. And I was like, no. It was free at the time. It's like, nah, we're going to Final Draft. And we ordered Final Draft for the classroom. Boom. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to, because you don't need something. First of all, I don't need to train people where things are off and they're trying to get, some of my kids are going to be independent filmmakers. Some might be in Hollywood working for Sony or Disney. I don't know, but I need to put them in a position that they're prepared for that situation no matter what. Okay. And so just because something is free doesn't mean it's good, but it doesn't mean it's bad. You just got to try it out, test it out and play with it. If it doesn't work, then you move on to something else. I know with Final Draft, if you have an iPhone or an iPad, it's like $14, $14.99, and you can still type in it. And so if you got those devices, which most people got a phone, it might be a small screen, but I can also send my phone to my Apple TV and put it on my television screen, so I could type a script that way if I want it, or I can speak into it and types it out for me. Either one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a tool. That's like nice. I know I don't type fast. I'm not going to kid myself.
I can't type.
So I don't type fast. So I talk faster. So I can boom, 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 hash out a story. I tell you a story right now. Come up.
$29?
For what?
For the phone, for the app a month?
Oh, it went up to $29. Nah, when I first got it, it was $14.99. That's Final Draft. He just said it went up. No, but it goes on every phone or every device you own. So once you bought it,
right? I'm just saying that's just one software, though.
Yeah, but that's cheap. $29. That's cheap.
That's cheap to you. You got to remember, Michael.
Everybody don't have. These people spend more than that at McDonald's in one day, or close.
And you're right. But I'm just saying.
Make a sacrifice.
That's what I'm saying.
How bad you want it?
You have Final Draft software. You have Adobe software. There's an all subscription. I mean, all you got to pay. You have the Studio Binder. You have the Save the Cat. You have the. So I'm just saying. It's hold on.
So I'm going to give you let's do a quick budget breakdown. Simple. You want to do your first film.
Let's do it.
Now let's just say this is what you have access to. You have an iPhone.
Wait, what are we doing?
We're going to break it down real quick. You got an iPhone. Let's just say any iPhone. So like Derek said, you're going to spend an extra $29. That's cheaper than the AirPods that you get for your iPhone. Let's just be real. That's cheaper than the AirPods. So you get Final Draft. You can't write a story without being able to have a script writing software. Let's just be real.
Right.
You can outline a story without it, which you can do in anything. But hey, you got an iPhone, you can use Pages, which is free.
Got it.
Right? All right. So I'm not telling people go get Apple. I'm just saying, look at what note-taking software, what software you have available to your phone or your pad or whatever device. But I would definitely, with my iPhone or my Samsung, whatever, I have an iPhone. So I would go ahead and buy Final Draft. At $29 is still cheaper. It's actually, there was a point that if you had bought, had it on sale for $129 for Final Draft, which is cheap. I mean,
And that
because it
was
used to
buying it
be
straight
like
out.
$200-300. So $129 is cheap. You get it right. How bad do you want to make a film? It's an investment. And here's the thing. There's this commercial, and I it's so funny. I watched this commercial. The guy said, you can buy this laptop or you can buy a house. Which one's worth the value? He said the house is going to cost more, but the laptop can make you money that you can use to buy the house.
To buy the house.
It's
still purchased. Yeah, it's still purchased right now, guys. So Final Draft, just the
so
FYI.
if you don't have Final Draft, and listen, I don't get paid from Final Draft either way, so it doesn't matter. But if you don't have it, it's an investment. Invest in it. And if you were doing this as a business, you write it off in your taxes next year.
Mm-hmm.
Boom, we bought this to start my business. It's like if I tell you, hey, it's going to cost you $300 a year to start your LLC. Well, how many of you guys are doing that? You get what I'm saying? So like, it's an investment, and you guess what? Every time you spend that $300 for your LLC every year, because you're doing the taxes, you're writing your taxes and stuff, you're filing, you get it back anyway because you're filing your taxes. So we got an iPhone, and you can film on it. You do this, and you got your script writing software. Well, you got the two things. Derek, I don't know if you have Save the Cat on your phone, but you can do me a quick favor because I know you. How much is Save the Cat on the iPhone? You see what I'm saying? Like, it's not as expensive. People are going to make it in their minds. And we just posted on the site, the kids in Nigeria taking their iPhone and filming their own sci-fi films. And they ain't changed. They're still using them. They're using the cheapest tools they had in the first place. So are we overdoing it sometimes? Are we like, I got to have this camera? If I can afford it, I get it. You know what I mean? If I can't afford it, I wait. I'll just save the money up and then I'll get it. But if somebody's being successful and they're not shooting on 4K yet anyway, why are we worried about 4K all the time? 4K. Oh, 8K's out now. You got to get that. Do I really need it right now? 4K hadn't even caught up on most of your stuff to begin with. Everybody's not streaming in 4K. Okay, I don't care what you tell me. That's a lot of bandwidth. Okay, and it's okay. Or they're dumbing it down. You don't know when they switch your movie over to 1080p, and you're really not paying attention. It doesn't matter. We're streaming half the stuff we watch. But so we got a phone, we got Final Draft. That's whatever your iPhone costs you. I don't know, because the most expensive one's about $1,500. All right, and that's the iPhone Pro. They got 14 now. But this is why I have Apple Card. So you get your 3% back. But at the end of the day, just pay it right off. But then you got your apps. All the apps you've already purchased transfer over. So it doesn't matter. It's an initial investment. I have a storyboarding software that I told you guys earlier I have on my phone and my iPad. The subscription was $29 for the year.
Now that's super cheap.
Like when you really think about it,
$29 a month. Yes,
and it can be expensive in your mind if you're not constantly making films. And I haven't made a project in a minute, and I'm about to get back on board. I mean, I was just talking to TK about it. I got to wrap my mind back around it and get back to moving. I even talked to my mentor, and he was like, "Keep it cheap first. Just do what you need to do." That's why you have people around. All right, so what we just say: phone, script writing software. Derek said $29. Derek, did you tell me? It's a free download, he said. Oh, well, okay. So
he said within app purchases.
Within app purchases. So you can download it already, test it out, play with it probably for at least 7 days or something like that. So you can get used to using it. Now you see what the cost is, right? You're probably, let's just say altogether, because here's the thing. We're talking about editing your films. Guess what? You got iMovie. It already comes on your phone. Apple already gives it to you for your phone and your iPad. And LumaFusion, Lewis has been using it. I have it on my iPad. It's a little higher end than iMovie, but it was like $29. And it's an editing software. And it edits at
A month or
4K.
a year?
No, period.
Oh, that's
Period.
cheap.
Yeah.
So yeah, look, we need to find the ones that are $30 a year.
So
I mean, I'm
either
an
$30 a
independent.
year or flat out. You know what I'm saying? But so you can
Yeah.
edit a short film or a feature film. It may not be the greatest right out the gate. But if you have a way you're going to plan for distribution, all this, but just to get started, let's just say just getting started
Yes.
stuff, it didn't cost much. The phone itself costs the most, but it has all the tools in it. Editing software already comes with it. It films in 4K. If you actually buy the new iPhone 4 Pro 14, it now shoots with the cinematic in 4K up to 30 frames per second and down. It also goes down to 24 frames per second. So they listened to y'all and they made that adjustment. It's an investment. And like I said, you haven't bought a camera yet because your phone is everything. It's a computer. It's all that. It's your TV, computer, communications device, everything. Now, me personally, I'd get a laptop because I can transfer my footage to a hard drive to connect it to my laptop, do my color correction. I would use Filmic Pro if I'm shooting off my phone so I can do color correction because you can treat it like it's raw and it'll give you the different logs to make the adjustments if you understand color correction and coloring your footage and so forth. So that's the other thing, right? Your biggest expense is, honestly, on the film side, small. Just to write your first film is really small, right? That's what you need. You need to be able to write the first film. And just having your phone, you can write that. And honestly, Final Draft should be everybody's first investment. Whether it's for the app for the phone or the computer, it should just be your first investment. If you don't have a film, then buying all that other stuff won't make a difference. Now, if you're planning to make the film, your next things would be your budgeting software. And we talked about Jungle. They have another one called Chimpanzee. They got Gorilla 7 for budgeting and scheduling. But they also have Chimpanzee and Storio and some other stuff on Jungle that's cheap. And they have educational prices as well. So,
and let me show you guys this. It's kind of funny because we're talking about, we're talking about the software, but let me show you guys this. Y'all can laugh, and then we're going to let you guys go. I know. Thank you guys for staying with us through the technical difficulties, but I'm going to show you this so you can laugh because I don't have a budgeting software and I have budgeted for a script, but let me show you what I have. This is so funny to me.
But didn't we send the same sheet? We had the same sheet we sent each other or whatever.
No, I think this is
because I sent you a document for that.
Hold on. I'm going to show you what I'm using and you can tell me if it's the document. And we'll talk about this another day, guys. But hold on just a second. Let me go to my Google real quick.
And listen, if you're independent right now anyway, you could use Excel or you could use, for the Apple, you can use Numbers. It's there. You'll just have to plug stuff in. But at the end of the day, once you create a template, you got a template. All right. When you're ready to screen share, let me know.
I'm ready to screen share, but where is it on my thing? I need to see it. Hold on. All right. Maybe I need to download it.
Remember window. So that's the aspect you should be looking at. There's some cheap tools or things you already have at your current disposal. But once you initially do stuff, it's just bringing it over to the next thing, typing it over or importing. It just depends on your software that you're using. And research the software. Play around with it. Watch the YouTube channels. Yes. Test it out if you can. If it's cheap, just buy it. Buy the Final Draft for your phone. You can't really go wrong with that. Let me go ahead and hit that up.
Okay. So because I don't have Jungle software and all the other ones, this is what I've done, guys. So somebody sent this to me to look at a budget, and I was like, oh, this is perfect. So it literally has the producers unit, the directors, the director, first AD, SAG performers, SAG day performers, every one of my characters and how much I'm going to pay them, travel, hotel accommodations, the per diem. It has the production staff, production coordinator, first AD, which is already at the other one, so I had to remove it from here. Script supervisor, the PAs, art direction, props, set dressing, assistants to the art director. If I need assistant, property masters, the property rental, wardrobe supervisor, wardrobe purposes.
Yeah, that
It
was like the
literally,
one I had. Yeah. And
yeah, makeup and hair. So it has everything on there.
but you know what? Remember that book we showed not long ago, Movie Making? And if you put the the CD-ROM in, it has all that stuff in there too.
Yeah. I have that. Yeah, I have that
Yeah.
with me. Actually, I travel with that. Sorry. I know. I'm trying not to talk loud. I'm just talking about the voice.
There
Sorry.
you go. Michael Legend said, M. Legend Brown said, in EP Entertainment Partners, but if you're a filmmaker, you should buy Movie Magic over.
Final Cut because of the export capabilities.
Wait, FC is not. Final
Yeah,
Cut
he
is.
means. You
Final
mean
Cut's
Final
for
Cut?
editing.
I think he's talking about Final. Michael, you talking about Final Cut?
No, Final Cut's for editing. It's solely editing. It has nothing to do with.
Oh, Movie Magic over FC. What's FC, Michael? Let's see. Hold on.
Yeah, I'm lost on the FC one.
Shot list
But
out. Create the
but
shot.
Gorilla. I mean, again, you want everything to
Final
at some
draft.
point. Okay.
Final draft. He means final draft. Yeah, because he uses my Movie Magic.
Yeah, but see, Final Draft exports to Movie Magic too. Like so I had to use Final Draft for motion picture for grad school, and our professors are industry people, so they said, "Hey, it transfers right over. This is how you do it." It's learning how the software works because Final Draft is the industry standard. Now, it all communicates because the industry standard software knows other industry standard software, and they know they got to communicate with it if they want to stay alive. You know, so if we know that most of the script writers in the industry are all using Final Draft, then Movie Magic has to communicate with Final Draft. Because my Movie Magic communicates with Final Draft. There's certain things in Final Draft you do, and then you export it as a certain file, SEX file, and it finds everything. It finds your props, your characters, it breaks down all that stuff. And then you import it and it lays out. And then you start making the changes. So that happens. Software talks. That's why it's the standard. It has to talk to each other. And the problem becomes when none of the software starts talking to each other or the communication doesn't go well. Then you start having the problems. And if you start communicating with the companies you do like, honestly, they'll start making the changes because they are trying to break into the game. Like Jungle, I was a beta tester for about 4 years for Jungle.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, when we were talking, when I lived in Texas, I was doing the beta testing every summer. And so if you tell them you need something to happen, they listen, they start putting it in. It happens with anything. We use Rode mic stuff. Now you tell them, they're making those changes. They're trying to get their customers satisfied, but continue to have customers, because the name of the game is repeat customers and keep you coming back. And if they know you need it, they know the next customer is going to need it, and they're going to start making those changes. But you guys got to make the suggestions. Like, you got to get into the feedback. You got to get on the stuff, and you got to start telling the companies what you want.
That's good.
And talk to them. And then, because a lot of people don't. I mean, there's people that do. The crazy thing is, you join some of these groups, like a Final Draft group on Facebook, or a Rodecaster Pro group, or this Canon group. Some of the companies are actually in the groups, and they're reading the posts. They're reading the comments. Now, some people aren't going to make certain changes because it's bad for business. I got to get you to buy the next thing. But the minor changes, or the changes that will majorly keep people, they'll do that stuff. But your camera companies, they're not all going to work in tandem with each other. They have too many tiers of cameras, devices, so they're all not going to be. You got to have a reason for each. And if you know your tool, a camera is a camera. You as a DP, you know how to use it. You know how to do lighting. You know how to do certain things. The camera is minute, and then when people start getting in debates about cameras, I kind of like, nah, it's a waste of your time. Because yeah, I can use a Canon, I can use a Red, it's all preference to me. Everybody, oh, I like the quality of look. I shot stuff on a C100 Mark II that people thought were in 4K. So
that whatever you shot, I am on,
yeah,
like especially that episode number 3. That was like, I
it's the
remember
same
that.
camera. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like it's about knowing your stuff as a DP. It's your lighting, it's your setup, it's how you block your scene, things like that. People get hung up on certain things and they don't. But I will say this: the initial stuff is the script writing software. Like if you're not,
Right.
if you hire TK to write a script, she gets it back to you. You want to make those adjustments. If you're writing, if you're learning how to write, you want to write on it. You want to know what a log line is. A slug line is. You want to know what action lines are. You want to be able to do all that. And that's the book we were talking about, making a movie.
It's the book we were talking
There's
about
a
earlier.
DVD, there's a CD-ROM in the back of it that has a lot of these files for the
And nobody has a
budgeting and all
computer
that
with
stuff.
CD-ROMs anymore.
I know, like that's the other part. But Apple, you can go get the external CD-ROM.
Yeah, whatever.
But I actually copied. The funny thing is, all my discs, I already copied the files over on a USB drive and a hard drive.
I can't get it.
I do that initially. It's right up off the top.
Yeah.
I put it on the computer and then move it over.
Because
I'm at an age, I started off when we had floppies. You could flip them around. You had the 2.5, the 3.5, or the 5 inch, and then we got zip drives, and then now I already seen the changes. I was like, all right, no, you got to prepare for the next thing. But get with people, buy the stuff with people, and share it. Some of the tools. The software is going to be the hard one, but if you got things where, let's just say, for instance, you and a couple friends buy some books and you share the books, or you copy the CD-ROMs from the book, or share the files from them and talk to each other. And we at one point, we didn't do this, but we thought about doing a book club with you guys. That we pick a book and go through it for a month or whatever. They'd have to be separate from the show, but it might be necessary.
He said you're old. I dare say you're old. Talk about them floppy drives in a moment. That is hilarious.
The stuff is available. There's websites that got this stuff. No Film School gives you some tools. Look, the publishing company for Save the Cat, Michael, I think it's Weiss Productions, they have tools and stuff in other books. You don't have to buy every book, but I will tell you this, and this is what TK brought up before we step out. She talked about you don't have to need every book, but the thing is, there's certain books that are like a series you do want to test out and try out, and then the larger books you can't be afraid of because they have everything in it. That's why you get the big,
like the Screenwriter's Bible. It's thick, but it's an easy read,
and everything's in it. And so people tend to want to do a small, quick read, or they're intimidated by, I got to read this thick of a book. Well, give yourself a break, or say, for this month, I'm going to focus on reading this book. Every day I'm going to give the X amount of pages and study this book. It'd be better if you get with some people who are reading the book with you, because y'all can have good discussions about it. Like if you guys did the Screenwriter's Bible for a month or two and just went through it. And at the same time, you're writing your script anyway, because that's the part of the first lesson when you read the book, is to start writing your script. So, I mean, you got Final Draft, you got the Screenwriter's Bible, you should already be writing your first script. I mean, it's a feature film. It's not like
that's how I wrote. Yeah, that's how I wrote mine.
Yeah. So you
and the class I took for $25 to teach me how to write a scene.
When you're done,
writing.
Yeah, but when you're done and you got some people who can read your script and give you feedback and tell you, oh, what about this? You get with a TK to do consulting, and she tells you, now you're done. You got your script done. You got, let's say, because every script is not 100% locked anyway. You're gonna make some changes while you're filming and certain things anyhow. But all right. When you're done, guess what you can do? Now go get the editing. Now you go get the software to break down the script. And you break it down and you start budgeting as you're breaking it down. Now that you broke it down and started budgeting, you can schedule and put the budget with the schedule. You match the two up. And then there you go. Now you have your whole project planned out. So if somebody said, yo, I know you said you got a movie. How much is it going to cost? You can send them the top sheet.
Mm-hmm.
You send them the top sheet. They know what your below the line, above the line costs you and what you need, and they can get it over to you. Or they can help you find the financing. And so now you got that aspect. But once you know your budget, all these things, now all the other stuff comes into play. And that's just why you're following the Black Filmmakers Lounge, because now you make the connections. Like you hit a Derek up and you say, hey, Derek, I know you're good at producing movies. I have a film. What is it going to cost you to bring you in to direct or do this film for me? Oh, hey, Jacoby, I need a DP. How much is it going to cost me? I have it scheduled out for 2 weeks. What's the cost? Or maybe you got scheduled for a week. What is it going to cost me? Then you put his budget into your budget. You already got the budget. You just type his stuff in, and now you see the cost.
Mm-hmm.
You're having those conversations. Oh, you need this actor. Well, you know this actor's SAG. What is the cost?
You charge $5.
What is this cost? What's the SAG budget? You know what I mean? Or, hey, can I talk to you? I can't pay you this much, but can I give you this many points and this amount of money? So points means they're going to get paid on the back end as the movie does well. Or maybe you end up selling a script. Maybe you talk to TK, she helps you write the script, but you got to give her points and everything, and you sell your script, so she gets paid off the points from the script now. It's all a negotiation. But if you don't have anything, there's nowhere to start. So here's the first place to start.
There you go.
Script writing software. You got to have a film first. I mean, I can't argue. You can't argue that. You got to have a film first. So we've been hanging out with you guys. We made up for the time we lost earlier.
Thank you guys for hanging with us because, we had a rough start.
And
but it's how you end.
Yeah. So we hope you guys enjoy this show. Let us know. Give us a thumbs up. Like, subscribe, share to the Black Filmmakers Lounge actual page, the Facebook group. And if you're not joining the Black Filmmakers Lounge YouTube channel, go there because this is going to be posted there after I do some quick edits from the beginning. We're going to post that up. But hopefully Ecamm Live will get ready because they're about to update the system where it's going to be streaming on all the sites you needed to stream on.
Oh, no, Tony.
So we're going to be streaming at the same time on YouTube and Facebook. But we will probably just switch over to YouTube because from the looks of it.
Because our technical man is making it happen.
So
shout out to
what we're going to do, but we know that a lot of you guys are hanging out on Facebook. So we're going to make it happen. So I would like to just say this. Start. It's an initial investment. Listen, for what you probably spend on some food that isn't even healthy for you, you can put that same amount of money aside to get your script writing software, maybe a laptop or something. I don't know. What are you looking for? Oh, you looking at
No. There's a building next to my daughter's building, and you never see anybody ever in this building. You see light sometimes, but that's it. Rarely. And I just saw a person, and it was just intriguing because I always, every time I'm up here, I never see anyone at this building. And it's a 3-story building, apartment building. So
it's an actual apartment building, and no one's ever in it? There's your haunted apartment complex story right there.
That's what I'm telling you. That's what I was like.
We're like, wait, somebody's in the apartment?
The gate never opens and closes, like you never see.
See, there you go. The haunted apartment. It could be a comedy or it could be a horror movie. It's just whatever you want to be. But bottom line, make it happen. Get going. If you haven't invested in yourself, because you're your first initial investment. If you don't invest in you, no one else is going to invest in you. Trust me. So, TK, do you have a 60-second gem, or do you think we dropped 60s of seconds?
I think we dropped plenty today. I'm gym dry right now.
There we go. So I hope this shines for y'all. But so as we get to go out, we'd like to thank you guys for joining us at the Black Filmmakers Lounge Saturday morning indie industry shop talk. I'm your host, Michael Melvin, with my co-host, Myra TK Henderson. And we like to let you know that the Black Filmmakers Lounge is where independent filmmakers, whether they're novice or professionals, can come together to gain insight, perspective through education, information, networking, and to discuss industry best practices that will advance the Black independent film community. That's what we do. So you always remember that the Black Filmmakers Lounge is a space of creating our own space so that we can all succeed together. So keep that in mind. Let's keep it moving. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Share this with your friends and family. We're going to post this up on YouTube, so keep it going. And we thank you guys. We love you guys for following us, hanging out with us today. And all I got to say is peace.
We're out.
We out.
Like, subscribe, share. Like, subscribe, share.
That's us. Where you at, Lewis? All right, y'all.
Where you at, Lewis?
We out.
Lewis!